Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Have you any idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
Oh, it's very successful. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Hey, it's Sunday Night Live. This is the quintessential get your ass ready for the week. We have got one heck of a show for you. Thank you for everyone who shows up, hangs out, shares your opinion, has a good time. We've been doing it for a long time, and I really hope everybody really enjoyed the thumbnail, the Gaza Lego set. All bricks are gray, unassembled, no assembly required. I thought that was brilliant, and I want to thank Mr. Skylight for that. I want to thank Mr. Uman for being here with Ms. Jolene. Thank you to Jolene as well. And we've got everybody in the house. Yep, Mr. Skylight. And we got Chin Music, who is starting the show off, get this, with a $102.23 super chat donation. And he's going to have some questions for us here, so keep an eye out on them, Mr. Uman and Jolene. And as far as you, if you have something to say, right, about SHTF, about the Russians, about the Israelis, about Hezbollah, about Hamas, about Biden, about anything, from teachers to fruitcakes to the military, whatever you want to talk about, at the zoo, we talk about it. Whether you're on subscribestar.com, the Prepared Mind there, it's a $2 a month premium, or the preparedmind.club, $2 a month premium, or if you're on YouTube on Sunday Night Live, you can join. Just get that super chat button right up there, hit that bad dog, put your question in place, and Uman and Jolene will pick it up, and away we go with what you have to say. Now, what is this deal with a big old bottle of scotch? Well, if someone does a $50 more super chat donation, they buy a good old shot of scotch for me. Get me, I guess you could use the word all lubricated up. So here's to you, Chin Music. Here's to everybody. Semper Fi, Godspeed, God bless America. Woo! That's a good start. Thank you, Chin Music, for that. And before we roll, I don't think we've got his question in hand yet. Before we roll, guess what? We've got... Oh, there we go. Okay. Chin Music, let's do it. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got. There it is. There's Chin Music. He starts off the show tonight with, have a double, big boy. Well, I tell you what. Yeah, that's right. 50 and 50 is 100. And then he did a 223 special, right? Plus $100. 223 being one of my favorite calibers. But that would be a double. Here's to you, brother. Ooh. Like mother's milk, I'm telling you. I think it's going to be one of those weeks, folks. One of those weeks. He says, have a double, big boy. We all need one. And every time you say the stupid is out of control, I think all the way back to 2010 when Democrat Mensa Hank Johnson. We don't even have to go to page 2. I know what you're going to say, but let's go to page 2. Hank Johnson was worried that we had so much military equipment on Guam, it was in danger of capsizing, flipping over. Here we are 13 years and 6 election cycles later, and he's still there in Congress with his intellectual firepower on display still. The bar for congressional membership is so low now, an ant could use it to limbo. And right next door to his district is fat ass Fannie. That's right, Fannie Willis. Well done, Georgia. Folks, when it comes to Democrat stupidity, off the charts, off the hook, out of the box, you can't top them. You really can't be more stupid than these people are. And it's not a game or a joke. They're really this stupid. And the scary part is they're really this powerful. Now, chin music is not making up. Congressman Hank Johnson, back in 2010, I'm glad you had the year on that one, was questioning the military. And there was a discussion about what was going on with the military stuff. And for some reason, Guam came up, the island of Guam. And it's one of those leapfrog islands that we used to get to Japan in World War II. And the military still has a base there. And his concern was that, yeah, if you put any more military equipment on there, it would flip the island. It would capsize it. And the general who was being questioned kind of gave him a look like, is this a joke? Am I being pranked? And he realized after just a quick second that no, Hank Johnson is that fucking stupid. Thinking that islands float. Islands do not float. Anyways, he had to assure the congressman that the island was secure and that they would not put so many military tanks and planes and equipment there that it would cause it to flip over. But truly, folks, that's how dumb these people are. Sadly, they are in charge of the nation, the Democrat Party. The Republicans only have a nominal, a small, they're right there, minimal control through the House of Representatives because they have rhino Republicans there. Talk about a zoo. You got jackass Democrats. You got, cotton stuffed in their ear Republicans and blind as fuck rhinos. And here we go, folks. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. No wonder we call it the zoo. No wonder. And we're going to have a lot more coming, folks, with regard to intelligence, intelligent thought, law, application, free speech, and many other topics. But this is your show. So you can hit the super chat button right up there. Get in your super chat donation, and then pow, we'll get you onto the screen. Or you go down below in the video description. We've got Venmo, CashApp, and dun, 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 my favorite. Not really, but it works. PayPal. Anyways, that's how you can participate in the show. And when you participate, it gets other people's attention. Because it's not all about what I want to talk about, or Uman, or Jolene. It's about what you guys want to talk about. What do you want to share with America? What do you want to make America think about? By the time we're done, thousands and thousands of people will watch this video. And I'm going to tell you this. Hit the thumbs up. Do it now. If you are not subscribed to the Prepared Mind channel, hit the subscribe button now. And then the internet address up at the top, the URL, the internet address, share that with other people. You can hit the share button down below or just copy and paste and get it out there. Super important to share information, especially at a time when the government thinks you shouldn't be sharing shit. That's right, folks. Now, it's amazing. Before Joe Biden was president, you could communicate to tens of thousands of people on a daily basis easily with YouTube. Now they are shadow banning everybody. I've been in communication with many YouTubers over the last week talking about what the hell is going on. And they're all being shadow banned, silenced. They're just being killed. So it is now up to us to go full on guerrilla attack. You are doing it also, supporting the channel, spreading the word, and using free speech. Even here, your free speech here is invaluable. So that's right. Give it a thumbs up, share, and let's get into it. Next stop is Darcy T with a bam, another $50 super chat donation. And that is going to have an adverse effect. Or I could say a beneficial effect. So thank you, Darcy T, for supplying number 3. And we are off to the races at the zoo. Now, like chin music, Darcy T, thank you for all the great support. So good, so good. Bottoms up, cheers, prost, semper fi. Ooh, I'm feeling warmer already. So Darcy T has something to say. She says, good evening, John. Why am I getting the distinct feeling that we are being deliberately manipulated and will soon suffer an attack on U.S. soil by Hamas, or what will be told is Hamas? And of course, that would ultimately lead, the scotch is working. And of course, that would ultimately lead us into a war with Iran. Thoughts? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with where you say distinct feeling. I get a distinct feeling as well. Distinct. It's not a usual. It's odd. It's an extra sensory. Man, I can feel it. Yeah, I'm getting that same feeling. We're being deliberately led to this place, manipulated, if you will. With all of the exchanges and the threats and the bullshit, Darcy, it's coming. Now, today, Hezbollah joined the fray. Apparently, someone in Lebanon pissed off Israel. They probably launched a rocket out of Lebanon. Now, Gaza is to the west of Israel proper, right? From Jerusalem to the sea, right? That's the area it occupies along the coast. Now, the Gaza Strip. Up north of Israel is Lebanon. So something happened and Israel hit Lebanon. I'm sure it was rockets or missiles. I don't think they would strike Lebanon for no particular freaking reason. They had to be provoked in some form, fashion, or way. And so then Hezbollah said, hey, you shot rockets at us up here in Lebanon. And Hezbollah is a very well-funded, very powerful, and very well-trained terrorist organization out of the country of, drumroll please, Iran. And that ties directly into your comment, question, feeling, sensation, yikes. So, it wouldn't be surprising to me now that Hezbollah has joined the fight over in Israel. And that does not bode well for us, folks, all things considered. With Israel now exchanging rockets and bombs and guns and missiles and everything else, gunfire, with Hezbollah and Hamas, the Palestinians and now the Iranians. And so, could there be a false flag attack on America that would supposedly be done by Hamas or Hezbollah? Well, Hezbollah the other day said they're going to attack U.S. bases and Israeli bases, and the U.S. needs to be punished for their participation. And, I believe that Joe Biden just gave $6 billion, that's billion with a B, to Iran. That is unbelievable to me. He is sponsoring terrorism from the White House. That is beyond fucked up. They should be kissing our ass and talking about how generous the U.S. government is. But I'm with you, Darcy. I believe that soon, very soon, Joe Biden is going to need a distraction. He and Hunter are being called to Congress to testify. And I believe it is the one of the congressional records places. They're holding or withholding Joe Biden's fake email account. They're withholding his emails, which is against the law. They're trying to hide. I believe it was Representative Comer is after him. I say you bring him in there, charge him with contempt, and then send someone over and go get the records yourself. In any event, they need to hide stuff. They need a distraction. We've got some big trouble and a nice false flag somewhere on the East Coast would do really well. I mean, why don't they take out some section of Pittsburgh or Baltimore, maybe Philadelphia in the ghetto, and knock down a couple of old shitty buildings, and then just say, hey, yeah, look at that. The bad guys, they hit us. It's coming, folks. I believe it as well. We're going to be told it's Hamas, or we're going to be told it's Hezbollah. Now, if it is Hezbollah, I say, Iran, you've asked for trouble. But now that's just it. Is it a false flag? The U.S. government doing it through its sneaky, snaky FBI, CIA, NSA bad guys? Because who knows who the fuck is who? Using U.S. mercenary forces who are probably in line with, that's right, MI6 and Mossad. Mossad being the Israeli version of the CIA. Because I'm sure Israel would love to have the United States government side by side in the Middle East. I don't want any of this, folks. I'm a peace-loving dude. I don't want any of this, but nevertheless, it's not about what I want. It's about what we get. Now, while we're on this, are you prepared? If somebody strikes Iran, they will shut, most likely, the Strait of Hormuz, which leads from the Middle East up into Europe and then over to the United States. Crude oil prices will skyrocket instantly, as if they're not high enough. And does Joe Biden want that? Well, anything as a politician is a distraction from your crimes is naturally wanted. Because that's how they do it, folks. That is how they do it. Look out. Look the fuck out. If it's Hezbollah or a false flag blames it on Hezbollah. They're threatening us. They're threatening Israel. Everyone is threatening everyone, and we've got a bar fight on our hands. Michael Brown sent in a super chat donation through CashApp. 556 super chat donation. Thank you, Michael Brown. So keep an eye out for questions, comments, thoughts from Michael, please. Okay. Because when I get that notification, typically, it doesn't throw the question there. So yeah, Michael Brown, he's going to be on the board soon. We have all kinds of trouble out there. So while we're waiting on Michael, let's see what else we got out there. Let's keep rolling with the super chats. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure you share that internet address. Jolene, who wants to step up next with super chat donation? And it is Wild River Preppers, who's been a member for 23 months. Bam! Says you're welcome. Keep on keeping on. That is a good one. I love that little bit of Joe Dirt there. That is good stuff. Heidi likes to say that one too. All right, let's roll with some more. What else have we got out there? We got Nancy Cagg checking in with a $10 super chat donation. Nancy, thank you very much. She says, for the Prepared Mind family and Separify John, thank you. Folks, as a Marine, because they say once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. I don't want to see violence, but if it happens, what I can tell you is us here in the homeland, you, me, us, you have got a lot of hard-charging devil dogs out there in the civilian population. And you got a lot of hard-charging Army out there as well. And you got a lot of Navy sailors, and you've got a lot of airmen out there that are patriots, and they're going to step up. But I can tell you, every Marine I see, right, you just know. And nobody likes these wackos from the Middle East. But Joe Biden has done a terrible, terrible thing to this country. Thank you, Nancy. Terrible thing. The military is in dire straits. They have not been replacing the military equipment, gear, munitions, etc. What is the federal government doing? What are they doing? They're not replacing everything. What are they doing with all the money they're getting in taxes? What are they doing with all of this cash that they're just printing off their printing machines? Just typing in $1 billion, $1 billion, $1 billion, right? Trillions of dollars a year the federal government spends. Why isn't our military caught up? And on top of that, on top of not replacing the equipment they've been sending over to Zelensky in Ukraine to blow or abandon or burn to the ground, their new woke military, their new, hey, come on in the army and we'll cut your dick off. Come on in the army and we'll sew some boobies on you. Whatever they're doing, right? American men are saying, don't want anything to do with it. So now you have an LGBTQIA+. I'm sick of all their fucking letters, right, in the military. It's my understanding the Marine Corps is at or close to their recruitment numbers. But wow, we don't have the military to fight, and we don't have the equipment, munitions, etc. In fact, somewhere on the planet, a bunch of pro-Palestinian protesters showed up at a port, at a dock, and breached an army supply ship, getting inside. What the hell is going on? Why aren't there Marines or private contractors protecting these ships from fucking idiot wannabe pirates? Good God. Is it that stupid? Do we have Hank Johnson and Cory Bush and the rest of the idiot Democrats? Are they fully in charge of everything? It would appear so. It would appear so. Keep an eye out for Michael Brown, pretty please. And then we've got so much to talk about, so many different topics. Where do we go? Okay, let's go with this. California. I couldn't believe this when I read this. I thought, is this one of those flashback news stories? California has reinstated mask mandates in and around the Bay Area counties. Mandatory face coverings all the way through March. Fucking masks are a joke. They didn't work then, and they're not going to work now. 3 years later, and people are still afraid. Still afraid? I hope, Jolene, you are not forced to wear a mask. I hope you can go to a county or a city that that doesn't require you to put a freaking diaper on your face. What a mess. I mean, I need to ask you this question, right? If they came to you and said, we want you to wear a mask, will you do it? Will you do it? I think that's a fair question to ask. Are people willing to do that? I'm not. No fucking way. Now, there is some information out there that's kind of no mask here yet. Good. Well, they just passed this or reinstated. I don't know if it's I do not know if it's an executive order or if it's at the county level, but it's Bay Area counties. It just happens to be inside the Bay Area. And the Bay Area, folks, is a huge, the California Bay Area. But here's what's more important. See, it's not the masks that ever did anything. It's the Jim Jones juice. We want facts, you got facts. You want science, you got science. And if you want a poll, that is people answering a question, we have a poll. Nearly 1 in 4, a quarter, almost 25% of Americans say they know somebody who died from the Jim Jones juice. Well, we all know a lot of people. I mean, all you have to do is know a couple hundred people. Let's just say the average person knows 100 people. 1 in 100 died from the Jim Jones juice. Is that how that works? Or maybe we actually know 1,000 people because we know someone who knows someone, and we're counting that as we know them. So 0.1% of the American population got creamed. Well, whatever the number is, folks, Americans know. And they're like, well, if it can kill them, it could kill me. I'm not worried about walking around without a mask. I'm worried about someone, giving me the hokey pokey. Not good. Not good at all. But that's facts and that's science, folks. Safe and effective? Yes, yes. Candy is a safe and effective thing to eat. Everything else, forget about it as far as what you're going to call safe. Anyways, well, we still have World War III in Europe. We still have it. We still have the Germans pissed off and the Poles pissed off. The Russians are pissed. Of course, Ukraine is pissed. Belarus is pissed. Everyone is pissed off. But this is pretty interesting. Unbelievable there. Pee-wee Hitler. Pee-wee Voldemort. Voldemort Zelensky. He has decided that things are going so bad because his military commander-in-chief, Zaluzhny, he is saying that they're not going anywhere, that Ukraine isn't winning. And he's saying it's a stalemate or a draw. And I think that's being generous. So Pee-wee Hitler, I think I like that as a nickname for Zelensky, because that's what he is. He's now decided he's going to fire his commander-in-chief, his military commander-in-chief. Is Zelensky becoming more dangerous? Is he losing his shit as he's losing his military? They can't keep fighting. They're going to run out of soldiers, period. Period. The United States isn't replacing our own military equipment and guns and cannons and artillery. So how can we continue to supply Zelensky? War is expensive shit. It's expensive. Here's a question for you I want to ask. Do you think the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, is going to remove him? Remove Zelensky. Remove Pee-wee Hitler. Now, here's the thing. Why is Zelensky losing his shit? Why would Zelensky lose his shit? Why would he lose his mind, start acting erratically, making stupid, dangerous decisions? Well, it's kind of what Hitler did as they were losing the war. At the end of World War II is the Soviet communist military started winning on the Eastern Front, and the Allies, England, the United States of America, and French resistance started winning on the Western Front. Hitler started losing his shit, getting mad at everybody. It was quite a crazy scene, folks. And Zelensky seems to be doing the same thing. He only needs to fight in a few cities. He's not fighting an entire war. Not the way they used to, folks. But be that as it may, he's losing his crap. Now, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, helped overthrow the Ukraine government back in the end of 2013 and into 2014. That's my opinion, but I think history or an honest and decent look at history would show that's the case. Right? It has been a money laundering cesspool. And corporations have been taking full advantage of that country. Not to mention they had, 26 or 29 bio research labs, bioweapons. Boy, they're not really clear about what was going on there, right? Anyways, when you're put in charge of a country that is supposed to be there for laundering money and helping them threaten the Russians and a couple other things, you do as you're told, I guess, or you get removed. Is that why Zelensky's losing his shit? Because he knows his days are numbered. At some point, will Zelensky put one of his lookalikes in position? Dress him up in a little green sweater, and then flee the country and take what money he can with him? It wouldn't surprise me. What do you guys think? Have you thought about this little guy? How dangerous he is? Zelensky? Thank God he does not have nukes. We should be thanking Putin for taking all the nukes out of Ukraine. Now, what's important, though, also with the Zelensky, and thank you, Uman, for sending me this early. Zelensky is inviting President Trump. Come on over, President Trump. We would love to have you here in Ukraine. What good would that do Trump? What good would that do America? Basically, I think Zelensky is doing anything he can to get any attention from any politician, from any political party. That's how I see it. I don't know how you see it. But yeah, he is desperate. People are really afraid of Armageddon. They're afraid of war in Israel. They're afraid of the Palestinians being nuked into a piece of pink glass. They're afraid of Iran getting involved in Hezbollah and a wider terrorist war. They're afraid of Turkey getting involved. This thing with Russia seems very contained. It doesn't appear that Russia has any designs to keep rolling. You know, they're fighting a very Russian war over there, which is a meat grinder, literally. A meat grinder, killing the enemy and taking all the casualties they need to slowly and systematically destroy the enemy. They're not trying to roll across Europe in a blitzkrieg the way Germany did. But so we're not so worried about that one, even though the threat is always there. You know, the threat is always there. You know, we could have the nuclear power plant, which is the largest in Europe at Zaporizhia. We could have that one attacked again by Ukraine, who would then again blame Russia. And if they were to create a nuclear accident, a nuclear, well, they just say the power plants don't melt down the way they used to, but they would have something there and then blame Russia and get the world involved. But I think we have a bigger threat of nuclear accident here in the United States of America at a Duke Power, Duke Electric, Duke nuclear power plant. Some ding-dong idiot rammed the gate, attacked guards at a nuclear power plant. That's a massive security breach. Do we need to have all of our power plants, not just nuclear, but hydroelectric, gas, coal, etc.? Do they need to be protected? I think the answer is yes. I think they do. The guy that attacked him, probably an Amish Republican, lost his shit and decided to ram his truck and through the gate and attack guards. What did he think he was going to do? One guy to a nuclear power plant. Literally, folks, they're made out of concrete and steel that is incredibly thick. You can take out a power substation with some powerful rifles, but you can't take out a nuclear power plant. But still, that risk is there. That threat is there that comes. Ah, yes, I tell you. Yep. 1 in 4 Americans says the June Jones juice is unsafe. I wonder where they learned that. All right. Have we got something from Michael Brown out there yet? Has he checked in with a question, or is he sitting off on the sidelines waiting to come in the second half? Holy crap, there he is. Hey, Michael. He says, John, did you know certain cities are owned by banks and Abu Dhabi? They own the speed cameras. They own the parking meters. Now, your choice of language here, Michael, is upsetting to me. With obvious reason. Yeah. I think I can help everyone kind of understand, and this pisses me off. A city is a corporation. If you look at their paperwork or their seal, it'll say incorporated in such and such a date. Incorporated. That's a business. Now, a city is a local government organization, and in order for them to get money, just like the federal government, they sell bonds. Right? They sell bonds to get funding, and they promise to pay those bonds back with interest. So cities do it, states do it, federal government does it, all nations do it. They sell bonds. So these cities have their bonds purchased by banks. They have their bonds purchased by Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates. Name your city. It could be China, Beijing. It could be Japan, but yeah. And because they're supporting the city, you think the city doesn't know who's buying their fucking bonds? They know. And so they get concessions. Kind of like a movie theater. Concessions. Well, if I'm going to support your city and buy your bonds, says the banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Chase, they say, we'll buy your bonds and we want this interest rate, and they'll name their interest rate, I'm sure. And then they'll say, yeah, we want parking meter fees. We want the speed trap cameras, the red light cameras. We want this. We want that. You bet. Now, they could say, well, you're going to make a deal with company X to bring in those intersection cameras, which are, by the way, unconstitutional. And they'll say, you're going to do business with company X. And then before that happens, of course, the bank or Abu Dhabi goes to that company and says, we're going to get you a deal with the city of Baltimore. And city of Baltimore is going to come to you and say, you can put up the speed trap cameras. You can put up the red light cameras. And we get 50% of the take. You know they do this dirty shit. Where do you think the city gets all their fucking money? The state gets all of their property taxes. And it's that time of year, folks. It's the time of year for property tax. I love how it always comes right at Christmas time for a big fuck you, America. You go to work and you pay taxes on the income that you bust your ass making. And then everything you go out and buy has a tax on it that you pay. You buy a car and it's taxed. Every year you pay a fucking registration tax. Buy a gallon of gas, taxes. Oh, you plug your electric vehicle in, you're paying a power tax. And property. When you buy a house, you get to start paying property tax. Average is somewhere around 2% a year. It is a giant screw job. That's where they all get their money. And then they sell bonds. Where does all this fucking money go? I would like to know. The city streets are never as good as they should be. Not for the amount of money they take. The schools are shit. They got a bunch of LGBTQI, green, pink, purple, blue, red, fucked up hair out there. Stupid ass dread blonde fucking wig things out there. Everyone's got a stupid hair thing on the left. Everyone's got to do something stupid with their hair to get attention. If that's not enough, they got to brag about their sexual identity or something. Schools are shit. In fact, what was it? The kids in Loudoun County up in Virginia, they did a walkout. Now, the cool thing about that is when the kids did a walkout, schools don't get money if the kids aren't in seats. It's bums in seats. So all the smart kids, all the good kids, all the brave kids said, you know what? Fuck you. We're not going to go into school until you get these trans people out of the girls' bathrooms because of all the rapes and sexual assaults that have been going on. And I know it's not that uncommon because my very own son in California, and not in San Francisco, not in LA, not in Sacramento, not in the Bay Area, way up in extreme Northern California, even way the fuck up there back in 2018, 2019, the tranny fruitcake lying kids would claim to be a gender they're not. And they were aggressive. And they were nasty, threatening, and violent. And they got their asses in a lot of trouble with my son, Luke, which I found to be quite fascinating. Anyways, everyone here, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you share that internet address. Friends, family, kids, parents, co-workers, your boss. Say, wake the hell up. We need to, everyone, watch all these YouTube channels and support everyone. And you guys are doing that right now. Thank you much. Thank you, Michael, very much for that topic. Folks, there's some crazy, stupid shit going on. We'll get into it some more. We're going to get into it some more. Let's do this. I think we got another super chat out there. It's your show. It's Sunday Night Live. If there's a super chat donation, pow, that button right up there. You get that in, and then your question goes up on the screen. We'll make you famous, and we'll see what you want to talk about. Okay, Jolene, let's see it. Pow, who's next? Hey, it's Chin Music. He's back with another $9.99 super chat donation. Oh, shit. He says, John, since the juice party started, I've had my unarmed self-defense capabilities tested twice by these granola-eating, dirt-pounding mask holes, and both times they've proven to be safe and effective. Nice. I think, that wearing a mask isn't going to save you, but doing some self-defense training will. Just punching a punching bag, folks, trust me on this. If you've never punched a punching bag, go into a gym, any gym that has one, and just say, I'm thinking about signing up. And punch a punching bag a few times and see how your hands feel, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulder, your chest muscles. Punch that thing a few times. And after you punch a few times, you'll realize, man, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get good at punching. You'll hit it once and you'll be like, man, that hurt. And then you'll hit it again. And you're like, oh, that's how you hit shit. And then you start fucking racking that bag like you're fucking Rocky. Just basic punching ABCs will help you if your self-defense capabilities get tested, like Chin Music. Now, Chin Music being the man he doesn't tend to walk away from stupid. Right? I'm not saying that he doesn't, and I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing when visited with stupid, he doesn't let stupid intimidate him or push him around. I'm glad of that. Safe and effective. Granola eating, dirt pounding mask holes. That's a good one, man. I like it. Thank you for the great donation. And yes, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get your plan together and train for self-defense. I recommend good old American Second Amendment tools. But in the event you're not carrying, in the event you didn't think you'd need to, you're still going to run into these assholes, mask holes. And a mask hole is a term we had for people who said, get on your mask or get out of the store, and they get in your face. Don't let them get in your face. Tell them, hey, your mask should be protecting you just fine. And if you're worried about everybody else, put on 2 masks because they work so well. But yeah, we're going to have some fun again, folks, in certain parts of the country. Okay, Jolene, where are we going next? We're 45 minutes into the Prepared Mind Sunday Night Live, and it is Miss Marilyn with a $20 super sticker. Thank you, Miss Marilyn. And again, thank you for the great emails with news stories, articles, thoughts, predictions, the world of chaos. I appreciate the information. It keeps me current with what's going on. And if Miss Marilyn has a question, we can throw it up there as well. Always good to hear. Folks, this isn't a radical military channel. This isn't a macho men's channel. This isn't a rural dudes channel. It's not a cityfied channel. It is men, women, black, white, all of us, young, old. And I think what we have in common is we're all Americans. I truly believe that being American is it, right? Race is a big deal right now, folks. It truly is. Race is a big deal. It's one of the things where they want to divide us. They want to divide young from old and pit millennials against their parents and say, you guys own all the property, so we don't get to own any, right? They hate their parents. They hate older people. And as older people look at these millennials like, you guys are fucking idiots. Why don't you learn to work a day in your life? And then you got the black and white thing. And then you've got the Asian and white thing, or the Asian and black thing. They're pitting the races against each other. They're pitting the religions against each other. They're pitting straight and not straight. Yeah, perverts versus straights. Anyways, in the realm of race baiting that's going on, there's a woman named Sharika Soul, or Soal out there. And she is conservative, and she wants to bring this stuff to everyone's attention. So I wanted to cover this. She's getting more play in print in the alternative media. She says black people are committing hate crimes in America, and it's time to talk about it. And essentially what she's saying is, people are getting a pass. They're clearly doing things based on race, kind of like Black Lives Matter went after people back in 2020, and it was based on race, and it was purely to distract the world, make Trump look bad, but all it did was create race tension. Anyways, what I want to say is get ready for this to be exploited by the left as well. And we're seeing a lot more with regard to race, like the pro-Palestinian, we can say Arabs out there, people of Northern Africa or the Middle East, and they're standing side by side with other people who claim to be pro-Palestinian in this country, other persons of color. And they think that because they have melanin in them that these Middle Easterners give a shit, and they don't. Everyone seems to be setting themselves up for some sort of race fight. What I think is a good idea is to find people that are good people, regardless of race. Make sure they're good people. Talk to them. Get to know them. Find out they're going to be a lot more like you than you know. Now, the other day I spent time at work talking to somebody, and they kept saying, man, the things you're talking about, John, you sound just like the way I think. And after 20, 30 minutes, he's like, I can't believe that all the things you're saying is exactly how I feel about these topics. And I was like, that's how that shit goes. There's a lot more of us thinking the way I do, but between the news, the newspapers, right, the radio, the internet, they try and divide the shit out of us. They try and divide the shit out of us, whether we're, black, white, young, old, doesn't. But the left, these evil fuckers that want to destroy America, it is my opinion that they want to divide us and make us hate each other. And one of the most obvious ways to see we're different is skin color, hair color, eye color. Another one is the way we sound, the English we speak, right? How you sound, whether you're from the North or the South, the Midwest or California, whatever it is, right? They want to shit on us or make us shit on each other. Very messed up. Now, let's get back to the zoo. Your questions count. Super chat button. Jolene, who is next on the board? We got Shelly Chavers with a $20 super chat donation. And she says, our son was recently honorably discharged from the Navy by not accepting the Jim Jones juice. If war is imminent, could he be recalled with consequences if he does not consent? Okay, Shelly, I'm going to answer your question based on my earlier experience, but my recommendation is get an answer from a Navy recruiter. Now, when you are honorably discharged from the military, you have 4 years of active duty typically, and then 4 years of inactive reserve. Inactive. In times of war, the inactive reserve, people who have been discharged can be called back into service, mandatory if needed by the country. It's a type of draft. You're already trained. You've already had time in service. The big question is, can they make you get the Jim Jones juice? The answer is no. They've discovered they can't do that. I'm glad that he was honorably discharged for not taking that crap and not given a dishonorable which is completely ridiculous. But here we are. They could bring him back into service, but he would not be, how do we put this? In the Army and the Marine Corps, right? You got to have combat ready units. Combat ready units, you have to have no casualties, meaning no cavities, no sprained wrists. Everyone has to be healthy and ready to go, serviceable, right? If you are not current and they're requiring the Jim Jones juice to be current, then your son would end up being stuck at a base, probably with others doing whatever jobs they need them to do. And I think that's where that would end up. I would talk to a recruiter, though, and say, look, you guys call us back in? What the hell? I'm still not going to take that shit, and you still can't make me, time of war or not. Right? It was an experimental pile of crap, is what they were shoving down people's throats. But here we are. And folks, it was the military. I want everyone to know the military, the men and women in the military really fought hard and made this a national issue so that everyone asked the question, can the government make you? Like, can they make you right now as servicemen and women? They say, look, you have to do as you're told. Well, no, I don't have to do as I told. I don't have to follow unlawful orders. And it is unlawful, right, to force someone to take something that is an experiment. Experiment. Good God, how many billions of people took an experimental drug? I think it's over 6 billion people on the planet. It's a huge number. Anyways, Shelly, thank you for the great support of the channel, our efforts, everything we do here. And yes, talk to a recruiter and see what they say. And if he says, yeah, he's got to take it if it's a war, say, show me the code. Show me the directive. Show me the law, the rule, the ruling that says in a time of war, you have to take an experimental thing. Double down. And if you really feel that that's a big deal, let's just say war breaks out, wider war where the American military becomes directly part of it, I would consult an attorney. See if you can get a free consultation on that and say, hey, just because there's a war, does that mean I have to take a chance and risk my life with an experimental dose of crap? All right. Great question, great comment, and good to hear from you. Now, speaking of unconstitutional and government mandates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, do you remember this clown, Judge Engoron? That's the judge that said, Trump, you got to be quiet. You got to sit down and shut up. You're not allowed to talk. Right? Well, this judge, right, this far left lunatic has decided he's going to now gag Trump's lawyers. Unbelievable what is going on with these people. Unbelievable. By the way, Judge Chutkan, the other judge in the other Trump lawsuit, she had her gag order. What was it? Her gag order? Fuck, there's so much going on. There's so many lawsuits they're throwing at Trump, trying to keep him out of the presidential race. It's amazing. Making my head spin, right? They've thrown that off. But there was an interesting story about another judge that came out today. And by the way, we're right at 350 people live. Thumbs up. Share that internet address right up there. Share it out there. Now, yeah, there's another judge. Now, this has nothing to do with Trump. But there's another judge out there who decided in a divorce case that not only would she order one of the opposing parties of the divorce into the other person's place, but she personally supervised the violation of the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments rights. And then she resigned after she got caught for it. And now she's being sued for it. when you step out from behind what you're legally allowed to do, you can be sued. And I hope Judge Engoron, the moron, I hope he gets sued and gets his ass sued off. And same with Judge Chutkin. Her thing was, yeah, that's correct, that, well, President Trump does not have the right, the unfettered First Amendment right to say whatever he wants. And her order was so that he couldn't criticize public servants who were just doing their jobs. Well, if they were just doing their jobs, things would be a little different, don't you think? All right, I'm telling you, folks, it has hit the fan and it is nasty. Absolutely nasty. We're rolling up on the 1 hour mark. It is Sunday Night Live. And I've got a message here from, Mom. Sorry, Mom. You won't get to talk to me at the moment. Good stuff. Anyways, back to the show. Mom is not on the show. The political punditry in mainstream media is scared to death. Folks, they want to have a partisan war in this country. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for another 2020 summer of love with protests and violence and burning and riots and looting? Are you ready for that? They had to do all that because Trump was such a strong candidate and Biden was such a weak candidate. Absolutely weak. No one wanted to go see Biden. So they locked the country down and said, no more political rallies. Like they locked the country down and then said, hey, you lunatic leftists, get out there and start rioting and looting and burning and murdering, right? Well, at ABC, that's right, folks, the ABC network, they've decided that they need to throw Biden to the wolves, toss him in the garbage bin, the dust bin. And they need another Democrat to serve in his place. Because a New York Times poll, folks, is showing Trump with a landslide win over Biden. And it's not going to get better for Biden, folks. Now, what's amazing is on the one hand, you've got Trump. He's being sued. He's being prosecuted. You got Fannie Willis, Judge Engoron. You got Letitia James. You got Judge Chutkin, right? All of these lawsuits. Biden is doing everything he can to cover up Hunter Biden and his money laundering, pay-to-play bribery schemes. And he's got the mainstream media going, not saying a fucking word about it, doing everything they can to not talk about it. And Biden is losing so bad, that bad. And the New York Times, folks, they're a lion sack of liberal shit organization. So they don't want to say something like that. So if they're seeing it at the New York Times and they report it still, and ABC, their political panel sees it, ABC this week, right? They're going to want to get rid of Biden. They're going to need to replace him or it's game over. And I don't think game over is going to be very pretty with Trump back in place. With Trump in place, do you think he's going to drain the swamp in D.C.? I don't think so. He had 4 fucking years last time to do it, and he didn't. Does he know better? Well, now he may know better, but will he do it? I would hope that he would. I would pray that he would. But will he actually do it? Who needs to get cleaned up? Department of Justice, the FBI, right? The Attorney General's office, the IRS, the ATF, the Department of State, the CIA. We could do this all fucking day long. The Department of Homeland Security. All day long. You could name federal bureaucracies that have budgets in the billions of dollars every year that aren't doing their jobs. Is Trump going to literally go into every one of those organizations and more? and get rid of the scumbags? Is he going to go into the Treasury Department, the U.S. Treasury, and fire Janet Yellen, throw her the fuck out and everyone that's her buddy? Is he going to go to the Federal Reserve, a private banking institution, and say, you serve at the will of the President of the United States? Jerome Powell, get the fuck out of here. You're ruining our monetary system. You fucked up with Joe Biden and you screwed the country up altogether. Well, it's the dollar is fucked up. Either way, folks. Either way, they're screwing up the economy. Now, if they believe that Trump is going to win and they're going to have to concede and give Trump the presidency again, what happened when the Clintons left the White House and George W. Bush took over? They stole things. They stole the W's off of the keyboards of the computers. They trashed the White House. They acted like a bunch of sophomore high school dipshits. Every last one of these Democrats is going to fuck up as bad as they can and destroy this country as much as they can. Period. That's what they're going to do. That's what they want to do. Now, Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, she claims at this time, folks, that the Biden Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office, is coordinating with district attorneys around the country that are going after Trump. She says, I think it goes all the way from the top, down to the prosecutors, down to the attorney generals in the states. Right? I mean, I'm glad she said it, but, no shit. What I say is don't tell the American people, do something. Well, of course, Trump can't do anything. He's not president. But if he gets elected again and they've trashed the economy, trashed the military, trashed the monetary system, trashed the finance system, trashed Wall Street, what are you and I going to do? Are we going to end up with a Great Depression scenario? It's like you go to get an Airbnb and the last people who stayed there destroyed it, and the people who are in charge of keeping everything looking nice let it go to hell, and they don't give a fuck because they know who you are and they hate you. That's what I see the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans doing to the Washington, D.C. bureaucratic system, is just letting it go to shit. Oh, they'll continue their prosecutions. I think Trump should get in there, and he should, folks. Day one, pardon all the January 6th prisoners. Period. Done. And then he needs to fire, if he doesn't resign beforehand, the Attorney General. He needs to clean out the FBI. Christopher Wray, Ruby Rod Rosenstein, you're out of here. And every other scumbag. Then make them take a fucking loyalty test. Swear on the Bible, swear on the U.S. Constitution that they'll do it. And there needs to be a litmus test at all times. The moment they do anything in any bureaucratic institution that violates the sanctity of the Constitution, you're out of here. Don't pass go. Don't collect your fucking unemployment. Don't collect your pension. You're just done. And they need to investigate the Biden administration, Department of Justice, the Biden Attorney General's office where Merrick Buttsniff Garland is, and they need to find out what they've been saying and to who. They need to make sure the congressional records are not destroyed and lost, and find out who has been saying what to who. We got big trouble, folks. Big, big, big trouble going on. Well, let's do this. Where are we at, Jolene? What do we got rolling? And we're back. Okay. I don't know if anyone's paid attention, but thank you, Jolene. Is we've got an issue with Biden that we just talked about. If you've got something you want to talk about with Biden, or hey, who do you think is going to replace him? Or am I wrong? Hit the super chat button. Tell us, am I wrong? Are the bureaucracies, are their leaders going to be in place? Will Trump clean house? Will he try draining the swamp? What's your opinion? Put it up here. Get it right here on the screen for everyone to talk about and think about. We have to have these conversations now. I think it's that important. I really do. I think it's that important. Now, who could they possibly want to put in the White House? Who would they replace Biden with? You know who I say? Gavin Newsom, governor of California, nephew of Nancy, I pissed my pants Pelosi, that disgusting clown, her nephew, who is himself a disgusting clown. Mr. Greaseback, slime bag hair, Constitution destroying, old growth forest burning pile of shit, Gavin Newsom. I want kids to mutilate their genitals, Gavin Newsom. That guy wants to be the president of the United States. I don't know why anyone would vote for him. He is such a pile of shit. I know the people account. See, this is the problem with political parties, is people vote for a party. What is the Democrat Party? Well, I can tell you who the Democrat Party is. I can do that real quick with you. Who's the Democrat Party? It's the party of abortion. They want to kill as many babies as they can if the moms want to. I'm sure if they could, they would make it mandatory. You have to have at least one abortion. Right now, Democrat Party, they're the party of war. They truly are. When Trump was in office, he shut down wars. The Democrat Party is the party of abandoning your allies. At first, Biden wasn't saying anything about supporting Israel. Then he came out and started supporting Israel, and that's right. Guess what? The pro-Palestinians showed up at the White House. More on that in a little bit. What are the Democrats? What's their party stand for? Open border. What's their party stand for? Higher taxes. What's their party stand for? Lots of welfare. What's their party stand for? Right? Drag queens in school. The gay agenda. Grooming children as sex toys. That's the Democrat Party. Right? So Gavin Newsom, yeah, he'll fit right in. Now, John Fetterman, that's right, Uncle Festerman, the very large, giant, mentally handicapped senator from Pennsylvania. He is smart enough, despite the fact, folks, that he had a stroke and his brain doesn't work. Even as mentally handicapped as Senator Fetterman is, Uncle Fester, he says that Gavin Newsom is running for president, but doesn't have the guts to announce it. It's interesting that Festerman would say such a thing. Right? Fetterman does not have the decency to step out of the office. He's not helping anybody. But I'll tell you what he is doing. What Uncle Festerman is doing is showing the world, showing the government, showing the people of America that senators, they don't write legislation. They don't do anything other than go push a vote button. Lawyers do it all. Staff do it all. The only thing the politicians do is sit back and have conversations with donors about how much they're going to give them to support bills that they like. That's it. Well, I'm glad Fetterman, for whatever reason, decided to take a pop shot at Gavin Newsom. Well, I think Gavin Newsom wants to be the next president, folks. Scary, isn't it? That is incredibly scary. And speaking of scary, Back to the war, folks. Thousands and thousands of angry pro-Palestinian Muslims have stormed a United States base in Turkey. The city is called Adana, but in Turkey, thousands and thousands of angry pro-Gaza, pro-Palestine, pro-Muslim Muslims have decided to do that. What should have happened? What should have happened, folks? Can anyone tell me that when all those people started flooding and trying to break into the base, if that's what they were doing, storming the base and being kept outside is one thing, storming the base and get in is another. Now here it says tear gas and water cannon were deployed. Today, folks, thousands of angry Muslims attempted to storm the Incirlik air base. So it's an air base. It's not an army base. It's an air base. And they were met with tear gas and water cannons. Why? Why would these people storm a U.S. military base, folks? They're not anywhere near Gaza. They're probably 400 or 500 miles from Gaza at the closest. Why would they do that? Well, I can tell you why. In my opinion, it's because Hezbollah wants them to. It's because Hamas wants them to. It's because clerics and imams want them to. It's because ISIS wants these people to do that. It's because Al-Qaeda wants them to. And it's because the president of Turkey, Erdogan, has allowed them to do it. It should not have been the Air Force with tear gas and water cannons squirting down these ding-dongs, keeping them off the airbase. Nope. It should have been Erdogan and his police stopping their people from trying to get onto a U.S. military base. Crazy, folks. Are we seeing yet exactly who the problem is? The pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, pro-Gaza, radical wacko Muslim mob. I don't know how many hundreds attacked the White House gates. Now, the White House itself is like a small military base, folks. It has huge defense systems. I don't know why the gates aren't electrified. I don't know why there isn't tear gas. But in any event, they rattled and shook the gates. They screamed and yelled, aloha snack bar. They screamed and yelled, fuck you, Joe Biden. Right? They screamed and yelled about how Israel needs to be destroyed, wiped off the face of the earth. They had anti-American slogans, anti-Israeli slogans, anti-Jewish slogans. Sounds like an insurrection to me. I mean, January 6th, Americans were standing around, waving some flags, drinking some coffee, and then the police attacked them with tear gas bullets and rubber bullets, tear gas, flashbangs, and, of course, good old batons. Here at the White House, once again, scumbags are trying to get in. Just like when Trump was at the White House, scumbag leftists tried to get in. But they actually did worse on this one. They spray painted, put red paint all over the White House gates. This is the United States of America. That is the seat of power at the federal level. Free speech is one thing, but being allowed to destroy public property, deface public property, and threaten violence should not be allowed. In fact, they defaced and vandalized a statue at the White House of Andrew Jackson. That really pisses me off. They also did something along the same lines to a statue of the Marquis de Lafayette, who joined von Steuben in Washington at Valley Forge and helped win the war against the English, the Revolution. I don't know why this isn't an insurrection. I don't know why no one was arrested, but it needs to happen. So whether you're in Turkey or Washington, D.C., These radical, left-wing, crazy jihadis are proving themselves to be formidable. In 2020, folks, we had problems in the United States and a couple of BLM type Antifa issues in Europe. 2024, if not sooner, we're going to have Muslim radical problems across the world. Across the world. Certainly in the United States, certainly directly against Israel, but also against Israeli allies around the world. It's coming. It's coming. You can bet your ass it's coming. Crazy business, folks. A Canada-based Sikh terrorist has threatened an attack on Air India flight. Now, the Sikh are not Muslims, by the way, folks, but they do have the turbans. It's interesting that there is a Sikh terrorist. What is the world coming to? I tell you. Here we are being a bunch of peace-loving people, and they're after us. Now, I've had a chance to shoot my lips off. Folks, share that internet address up there. Bam! Hit the thumbs up button to tell YouTube, F you. And make sure you're subscribed. Jolene, where are we going next? We have Diorce, woo, with a $50 super chat donation. And that means I was feeling a little dry there, kind of like a cactus. Feeling a little dry, but Diorce, going to make sure I've got the old whistle wetted. Thank you, sir, for the $50 super chat donation. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, Semper Fi, God bless America, and down the hatch, Prost. Ooh, Mother's Milk. Now, Diorce has this to say. Good stuff. I posted my Palestinian flag barbecue videos. And of course, not even 5 minutes after posting my first video, YouTube started censoring them. Tried blocking them from my subscribers as well as block my own subscribers from being able to post a comment on it. How fascinating is that? Now, I'm sure, Diorce, that if you said something like Gaza needs to be wiped off the face of the earth and all Palestinians need to be wiped off the face of the earth, if you said anything like that, you would have that video probably removed. You might even get a strike. But because you probably just barbecued a Palestinian flag, right, they're just going to give you the regular the regular hiding, right? They're shadow ban you that way. No one can see you. You're done, right? We don't want anyone to see that. That's what they do. Now, if you're a Palestinian or Hamas or Hezbollah or Iran, you can post whatever you want, including videos of people that you've killed and tortured and terrorized. Funny how that works. It is incredible. And when I say funny, I don't mean it in a comedic way, but rather a satirical way. And so you've seen Diorce, interestingly, firsthand, just like many other people have. But it didn't even take 5 minutes. In fact, I want everyone to know and understand right now, YouTube/Google has their artificial intelligence censorship bots working. Our super secret behind the scenes storage video board is being systematically taken down at least once every 2 days. I think we're up to one a day now. We're having videos red flagged, removed by YouTube, but they're saying, we don't think you quite understand what you're doing, so we're just going to take the video down and not give you any strikes. It's like, oh, how generous of you. You're just going to silence and censor us because you think our opinion is misinformation or disinformation. They got a hard-on, folks, for the truth. but it's not the good kind. It really isn't. Thank you, Dior's, for the great comments, suggestions. Folks, be careful, though. I know Dior's is a very brave person. But if you post videos of you barbecuing a Palestinian flag or a Hamas flag or Hezbollah, you have to realize and understand these people that believe in that crap, they are violent, radical terrorists. So please be careful. Please be careful. Right? Look what they're doing in Washington, D.C., right? Where there's police and the military. These idiot pro-Palestinians, right? Who, I guess the Democrats and Joe Biden and the rhinos, they all think that they're a great addition to America. You know, what a bunch of idiots. They're not a great addition to America. All right, Jolene, who wants to step up next? We have Chin Music. Back again with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says, John, if you haven't seen John Rich stupefy Nasty Pelosi at some Hollywood big shot's birthday when she came at him on gun rights, look it up. Mastery. Offhand, Chin Music, I don't. If you would, do me a favor. Send that to me in email. I would love to see that. I've seen John Rich before, but I did not know he got a face-to-face with Nasty Nancy Pelosi. I'm sure she could have killed him just by breathing on him with some of those alcohol fumes. Yikes. Wow. Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot, folks, in order to, well, how should we say, win the debate points with a Democrat, liberal, communist. All you have to do is state facts. They say anything, you go, hey, you say communism stuff is great. So why is it that Chairman Mao and Stalin had to kill tens of millions of their own people? Why didn't everyone just line up and say, we love this communist crap? Make them answer that. They can't. Now, here's what you also need to know is if you want to discuss guns or social spending or any of that crap and have a debate with them, you're not going to change their mind. But I think the fun part is making them look and sound stupid. They are, folks, stupid. One of the worst parts of that is that you can make them look stupid, really stupid. Kind of like Congressman Hank Johnson, who made himself look stupid by saying the island of Guam was going to flip over because there's too many tanks there. Is they don't even realize that they're that stupid. They don't even realize it. Very, very scary stuff. All right, Jolene, who is up next? Next, it is Heidi. Thank you again for all the great support on the show with questions, behind the scenes, everything you do, Heidi. Thank you so much. She said, did you see the video where the mayor told the council that they could resign or he was going to charge them all with distribution of child porn? Or the one where the man shot one of the school board? Did you see the video where I did see it? It was several days ago. The mayor, he went in there and told them that. Parents, folks, are telling that. And I did hear about a man shooting someone on a school board. I think I heard about that. But they're trying to get the child porn out of the schools. I think that the mayor told the council or the mayor told the school board. Well, they're also throwing the National Library Association is having its issues as well. They're trying to throw out organizations that want porn put in school books for kids. And not just porn, but gay porn, trans porn, drag queen porn, sexual reassignment surgery porn, adult and child porn, child on child porn. These people are sick fucks. I'm glad people are fighting back. I do not recommend violence. I don't glorify or glamorize violence. I snicker when violence happens and it happens to be in in a way I think it's deserving or earned, if you will. Now, I don't know what happened with the council or board when the mayor told them, you can either resign or I'm going to charge you with distribution of child. This needs to happen, folks. I recall years ago, Tom DeLay, I think former minority whip for the Republican Party. Tom DeLay, I think, was a representative from the House out of Texas. He said, these sick fuckers in the Democrat Party, I think he said, like in the next 10 years, they're going to start pushing all manner of absolute filth and perversion on this country. And I thought, there's no fucking way they can push incest and all the things they're doing, which they're now doing. I can't believe it, right? Chelsea Clinton pushing it too, Hillary Clinton, every one of these people pushing it, folks. And we sat back and thought, no one can be that fucking sick. Yet they are. They truly are. Wow. You guys had some great questions and topics tonight. This is awesome. Jolene, who wants to step up next? Who we got in the house? We got NPNY1970 with a super chat donation of $4.99. Thank you, sir. This is what he wants to talk about. He says the D Party, the Democrat, is ruthless and doesn't care what it takes to win. I'm going to stop your comments right there and say, yeah, I remember when the head of the Democrat Party of Colorado back in 2020 said they would lie, cheat, and steal. They don't care. Their lower minions are willing to sacrifice themselves the same way suicide bombers sacrifice themselves for Hamas and Hezbollah. They don't care. They'll go to jail as long as they get one of their scumbags in office. It's worth it to them. Now, NPNY 1970 steps in again. He says they're going literal scorched earth to keep power. Something's got to give. Love from New York. I tell you, I don't know. New York, what a great state. It is beautiful. It is rural. It has ag. It has mountains. It has lakes. It has just incredible wilderness still. And then there's New York City. Holy shit. One of the greatest metropolises on the planet that I want to visit and I never want to visit. I love people from New York City. But man, what a crazy state. It's like California. California has some of the most incredible wilderness, trees, deserts, mountains, fucking lakes, volcanoes. They got a fucking active volcano in California nobody knows about because nobody cares, right? It's an incredible state, yet it's all politically fucked up. Anyways, the Democrats are going to get ruthless. They'll do anything to keep their power, folks, including going full-on false flag, inviting in terrorists, which they've already done, and they've been stockpiling terrorist cells in this country since Biden opened the border. In fact, the drug cartels just recently cut holes in the fence. I don't know what they did. They get a bunch of torches and acetylene bottles. I don't know how they did it. Is it filled with concrete between the layers? Well, they cut a hole and people are just pouring on through. Oh, yeah. By the way, they're pro-Palestinians that are coming through at the moment at that time when the person was watching. I don't know if they were screaming Aloha snack bar as they ran through the hole. I don't know. But yeah, this is an invasion and we will be at war within our own borders. The first time a foreign army has been on our soil. Well, we had the Mexican-American War. That was winning the West. That doesn't count. The Spanish-American War. I would say since the War of 1812, when England came back over. That's right, folks. They even nicknamed it the Second American Revolution. The English came back over, started fighting with us on our soil. I think they burned New York City to the fucking ground. We're being invaded, truly. You need to be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. They're going to interrupt our banking system. They're going to interrupt our internet. They're going to interrupt our fuel supplies. They're going to interrupt our electricity. Do you have solar panels? Do you have battery to store that power? Do you have any means of communication other than standing outside your front door and yelling at your neighbor? What the fuck's happening? Right? There is the very basics, the Maslowian basics, food, water, shelter, clothing. But you need a means of self-defense. And if you're on medications and need medications, by golly, get them. I tell you, it's a mess out there. All right, Jolene, we're cooking along. We're cruising. We're at 90 minutes already. Holy cow. We're at 350 people live. That's you guys. Be sure and thumbs up if you're new to the channel. Oh, be sure to subscribe. And then, of course, share that internet address. If you showed up and you're like, holy crap, you're talking about this stuff and getting away with it, tell others the same thing. Get here and start watching. All right, Jolene, what do we got next on the Prepared Mind channel? We got Will Savi, $5 super chat donation. Make that donation. Get your question on the board. He says, why are we giving money we don't have to countries that don't like us? Well, that's the $1 million. No, fuck. That's the $6 billion Iranian question right there. It sounds to me like it's money laundering. Money laundering and an attempt to bribe a country to be nice to us. Right? Are we giving $6 billion to Iran so they don't create a nuclear weapon? Are we giving $6 billion to Iran so they can turn around, put that money into an international bank, wire that money into another numbered account that goes back to the Bidens? Maybe that money is going to be laundered and kicked around to other bureaucrats in Washington and New York and London. Is that money going to be wired into the private account holders of the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank? Folks, all of the banks, by the way, are buying gold, and more gold, hand over fist. They're buying all the gold because paper money, not so much. Not so much. We're giving money to countries that don't like us because we're pretending to be their friends when they're not. I think there's a perfectly clear understanding between Washington, D.C. and Biden and the Ayatollah Khomeini. I just call him that because I don't even know what the fucking leader's name of Iran is. Right? In that country. Obama did the same thing. Money goes into that country. They turn into bombs, rockets, missiles, guns, bullets. And then they go 100% Aloha snack bar on everyone. Thanks, Will. Great question. Jolene, who is going to be next? Who has something to say? And it is G-Man with a $7 super chat donation. Thank you, G-Man. And this is what he says. I'm sad at what happened to Brooke Shields. I'm around your age, John. The Blue Lagoon was my first cinematic-based hard-on. Okay. Brooke Shields earlier this week had a seizure, a grand mal seizure, which is the big one. Foaming at the mouth, she turned blue. Blue Lagoon. She had a blue face seizure. She wasn't breathing right, having pulmonary issues, breathing issues. Yeah, Brooke Shields is pro Jim Jones juice. Brooke Shields had a seizure. Now, one of the side effects, negative, of course, of the Jim Jones juice is heart attack, pulmonary problems, seizures, neurological issues. Once again, it's kind of like a seizure. Awful stuff, folks. And The Blue Lagoon was a movie she did when she was very young, where she and some young man were trapped on an island, and they discovered that boys are boys and girls are girls. So, yeah, quite a movie. Quite a movie. All right. I think this is important here. Uh-oh. Yep. Okay, Jolene, what do we got rolling? Who is next? And thank you for that great super chat donation. It is Squidward Squidward Squilliam with a 556 super chat donation. My favorite caliber, 556. He says, as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Squidward, I'm going to tell you this. I agree with you 100%. I don't give a fuck. Give me liberty or give me death. I'm not going to play this fucking game with masks. I'm not going to play it with terrorists. I'm not going to play it with Antifa. I'm not going to play it with BLM. I'm not going to play it with teachers who want critical race theory. I'm not going to play it with fruitcake, fruit salad toss, and drag queens and other ding-dongs. I'm not going to play these games where they get to tell me what to do and I don't have to. I just don't give a fuck anymore. Give me liberty or give me death. I don't have to be nice, considerate, tolerant, or anything because they are not nice to me or you. They're not tolerant of me or you, and they're not considerate of me or you. This weekend, I had quite an interesting experience. I will not share it here, but it was quite interesting to say the least with these ding-dongs out there that don't have their shit straight. I just don't have time to go into the story. But yes, as for me, give me liberty or give me death. No more of this, just a little more socialism, just a little more taxes. And at some point, I would like there to be a tax revolt. I truly would. There needs to be a tax revolt in this country. In the 1770s, we had the Boston Tea Party. There needs to be a tax revolt. And anything that happens is going to be considered an act of terrorism. Go ahead and try banging down the gates of the White House, throw red paint everywhere, set the church on fire like they did during Trump's administration. No problem. Do all you want. Cause over $4 billion in damage, burning businesses, murdering people, looting stores, burning courthouses, burning police stations, police cars, trying to murder policemen. That's just fine if you're a Democrat. But whoa, you want to stand up and say, give me liberty or give me death? That sounds like a terrorist threat. You want to stand on the steps of Congress and protest? That sounds like a threat. That sounds like insurrection. You want to walk in Congress after being invited in by the police with smiles and high fives and posing for pictures? You're going to jail for 5 to 10 years. That's how fucked up these people are, folks. Squidward, thank you for the great super chat donation. Thank you, and thank you. And everyone else as well. We still got time for some more. We have about 22 minutes left. We do 2 hours on Sunday Night Live. 2 hours. Or I go as long as there's more super chats because I don't want to walk away and leave you hanging. You got something to say? Let's get it on the screen right now and talk about it. We got Will Savy back with another $5 super chat donation. He says, hey, the USA can never be invaded from the outside. We will fall because we invite the enemy in. This is a bit of perspective and wisdom. If a country like Canada or Russia or China decided to invade the country, they would be met by every screaming American who didn't want to get in their SUV and go the other way. In other words, the Democrats would flee like rats, and Americans, real Americans, would dig their heels in and start shooting, saying, not on my fucking watch. Give me liberty or give me death. Instead, we're going to fall, if the country does, because the government has invited the enemy in. Now, here's the deal. I like what you said, and I'm going to take a run at it. If we, as the U.S. government, they will fall. Washington, D.C. is going to fall and fail because they, Washington, D.C., invited the enemy in. Did the states invite in the enemy? Texas certainly hasn't. Is Texas going to fall? Well, they're taking a huge brunt of the population. But they're also exporting them to all the Democrat liberal cities, which I think is fucking fabulous. Now, we, the people, will not fail and fall because we, the people, did not invite the enemy in. At some point, folks, the balloon goes up, the balloon drops, and the shit starts, and you'll know, and we're going to find out who is American and who isn't. We're going to find out who is good, who is bad. We're going to find out who is the quick and who is the dead. Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that shit going on. There truly is going to be a lot of that going on. Kind of like this, right? In a Philly pizza shop, folks, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, 2 armed robbers decided to stop by this pizza shop, try and rob it. Armed robbers show up at a pizza shop. Well, one of the employees was armed, folks. He was carrying a weapon. The dynamic dumbass duo went to George's Pizza. You know what? Because this pizza shop had an armed employee there that defended himself, the shop, and everyone in it. They're on Oxford Avenue in Philly. So look them up if you're around Philly. Go buy some pizza at George's Pizza. These idiots tried robbing them, and a gun battle broke out. The employee shot both of the robbers, nailed one of them fatally. The other one ran off. I don't know if he has been captured or not. But the one that was dropped on the floor, he took a couple of shots to the body and one to the head, dead on the scene. The second suspect fled because the Second Amendment was in place. That is the type of stuff I think we're going to see when the balloon drops. Is you're going to see Americans stepping up and defending themselves and those around them. And the idiots, the criminals, are stupid. They don't know how to shoot. They aren't trained very well. They're going to make mistake after mistake, and they'll pay. You bet. Biden pushing for more gun control. The stores are all sold out, buddy. Sorry about that. All done. Unbelievable. And by the way, Kamala Harris's stepdaughter, who happens to be Jewish. Her dad is Jewish, so I guess that makes her Jewish, Israeli, Jewish, whatever. She's raising money for Gaza. Now, I have a question. If the money she raises to give to the people of Gaza ends up in terrorist hands, can she be sued and prosecuted for funding terrorism? It's a little logic for us. Let's work on this, a little logic. Can she be sued for funding terrorism? Well, she'd go, well, no, I didn't give the money to terrorists. I gave it to the Gaza people, and somehow the terrorists got a hold of it, and they used it to kill people. But wait a minute, isn't it a fundamental Democrat retarded belief system that gun manufacturers can be sued? Because gun manufacturers sell guns to good people. But if criminals get a hold of those guns and do bad things, then the gun manufacturer can be sued. Right? Gun manufacturers are sued because criminals get guns and use them in crime. So if she is raising money and providing it to the people of Gaza, if that money ends up in the hands of terrorism, then she should be responsible. Just like gun manufacturers are responsible for criminals. Well, in any event, I think she is funding terrorism. She's giving support, aid, and comfort to people who want to kill us in America. They've said it. They said it, folks. They want to kill us. In Houston, in our country, folks, an illegal alien from Palestine has been arrested. And know what he was doing? He was plotting an attack on the Jewish community. An illegal Palestinian arrested in Houston, plotting an attack on the Jewish community. Folks, isn't it interesting how the SHTF narrative, who you and I needed to be most worried about, went from Antifa and BLM to these whacked out religious nutcases? But in both cases, whether we're talking domestic ding-dongs or imported ding-dongs, our solution, me and you, to be prepared is the same. It's the same. Know the area you live in, the 10-mile radius around the place you live. 10 miles is how far a normal human can walk in one day. Know who is in your area. Understand their belief system as best you can. Understand their socio-political, economic dynamics as best you can. Understand everything you can about the world around you, because when The balloon goes up when shit gets nasty. That's the world that we have to be prepared to deal with. Right? We won't be thinking and giving a fuck about Israel or Gaza or Tehran, Iran, but we will give an absolute shit about everybody walking down the street. Are you prepared? Think about it. Think about it. I mean, this is what they believe over there, folks, right? The Iranian theological political regime. They are now starting a recruitment campaign for suicide bombers, folks. Now, I don't know, do they just get 72 goats in heaven, or does their family get money? Do these suicide bombers get a piece of the $6 billion? $6 billion that Joe Biden gave them? Anyways, they want to know, hey, who's willing to go blow yourself up to take out Israel? $6 billion, folks. And if you believe that they think like that over there, there's a good chance they think like that over here, the ones that have shown up. Right now, a suicide bomber, folks, they have to have a really good bomb, and they have to get into an area where there's a lot of people, because, you need to blow up everyone you can when you're going to be a suicide bomber. Or they feel that they'll kill more people playing their other games. And I've got a problem with everybody, folks. I'm going to criticize everybody. Bill Ackman, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a big, rich finance dude. He wrote a nasty letter to Harvard. And he says, I have lost confidence that you and the university will do what is required. Now, I'm going to read you some things that he said, and then I'm going to talk to you about some things I think about. And there's a reason you're here on the Prepared Mind channel. You can go get news stories anywhere, but we want to talk about some of the details, some of the interesting pieces. We want to think about things differently. So Bill Ackman is pissed off at Harvard and other Ivy League high-dollar schools that have been allowing these pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist, anti-American scumbags, anti-Jew, anti-Israel scumbags to sign papers, make threats, etc. They don't like the fact that Jews and Israelis are being picked on, and that Jews are being threatened, that these people in American colleges are saying they want to see Israel destroyed. So Bill Ackman, who is a big shot, right? He's a big shot, a pro-Israeli, a Jewish guy. He has this stuff to say. He says to the president of Harvard, Dear President Gay, well, right there, that's an appropriate last name. I am writing this letter to you regretfully. Never did I think I would have to write a letter to the president of my alma mater, meaning Bill Ackman is a graduate of Harvard Business School. He says, last Wednesday, I spent 7 hours on campus. Over the course of the day, it became clear that the situation at Harvard is dire and getting worse, much worse than I had realized. These are excerpts of what he had to say, folks. He continues, Jewish students are being bullied, physically intimidated, spat on, and in several widely disseminated videos of one such incident, physically assaulted. Now, here's my issue. I want to add this to Bill Ackman. Why should anyone care about Jews and Israelis unless you also stick up for whites, Europeans, Christians, and black conservatives? Why should we give a shit what Bill Ackman thinks and the banks and everyone else? Because all they seem to care about is that Jews are being intimidated and Jews are being picked on and Israelis are being picked on and they're being assaulted and threatened. What about all the black conservatives and the black Christians and the white Christians and the Europeans and everyone else who's being picked on and fucked with by the woke banks and woke corporations and woke colleges who spit on them, scream at them, assault them, won't let them speak, give them no free speech, yet they allow free speech for all of these pro-Gaza people, right? I'm sick of the special protection that all these groups get, including the special protection Jews want for themselves. Everyone should have equal protection, period, right? Bill Ackman is there demanding protection for Jews, while Christians, conservatives, whites, black conservative intellectuals are being discriminated against, bullied, punished, and assaulted. Right? I just want to go, where were you, Mr. Big Shot Banker Akron, when Jews and Israelis were not being singled out, but everyone else was? Right? I stand for freedom. I stand for peace for all. I just don't stand for the so-called special people. I don't think there should be special protections for special people. Right? When individuals and groups attack others, pushing their destruction, then I stand against them critically, right? Physically, period. I'm going to criticize people who allow others to get walked all over, but, don't stand up. I really think we should be, folks, fighting in an intellectual sense. I can't promote violence or glamorize it, but I think we should be fighting for equality for all. And when I hear one group try and silence another, that's when I say maybe we should silence that other group. Maybe we should. Right? So when the LGBTQIA plus people want to silence us, I say we should silence them. And I can find what they're doing that isn't just wrong, it's criminal. It is criminal. It's criminal to take children and groom them. These people are all messed up. I stand for peace in America and in peace in Israel, not special protections for the favorite youths of those in power. And I'm going to say this, and again, back when I was in my early 20s, I remember being home and the Rodney King riots started. And I drove down through Sacramento with some friends, and there was this black guy. He was wearing jeans, I can't remember his shoes, a pink shirt. It was a pink Izod or Le Tigre shirt. It was a knit shirt, button-up collar, and a cowboy hat. Can't remember what kind of shoes or boots he had on. But he was standing at the curb outside the Florin Mall on Florin Road. And he held up a sign that said, "Stand for what's right or don't stand at all." And that struck me then, and it strikes me now. Stand for what's right for everybody or don't stand at all. And if there's any group out there that wants to punish someone else, then they need to be punished. They need to be stopped, in other words. That's why I did not like the BLM marches and shit. I did not like it a bit. I tell you, wow. Yeah. Judge Chutkin, that's coming up again. All right. We're down to our last, less than 10 minutes, somewhere around 5 minutes. So I better do this. I better get to the remaining super chat questions. Jolene, who wants to step up next? We've got chin music. Bill Ackman is the same dude who used his hedge fund to short all the hotel and airline stocks while pushing lockdowns. Oh, can you imagine that? What a sleazebag banking scumbag. Now, what is Chin Music talking about? Well, he wanted everyone locked down for cerveza bug. At the same time, he was short selling hotel and airline stocks, meaning he was selling here and buying back when he knocked the price down. And so this is the new price. So here's the new price. He would sell it here in huge quantities. Bam, 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 bam. And then tell the government, lock everyone down. No more travel. Bam, 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 bam. Knocking the price down. At the end of the day, he'd cover those shorts, or at the end of the week, he'd cover those shorts and buy them here. He'd buy high, sell low. All of the rest of the planet has to buy wherever we buy and then hope it goes up. No. They can sell something they don't have. They could buy it or sell it high and then buy it low later. And that's called shorting the market. It's not an easy thing to do. You got to have a lot of money and power. And voila, Bill Ackman. right? I don't like special privileged people. We should all be the same. We should all be equal. Thank you, Chin Music. Bam. All right. Jolene, who else we got? We got H12. Heidi with a $5 super chat donation. And she says, did you see the video where a store clerk was trying to stop a thief and a co-worker threw a 2-liter bottle of something at him and knocked him the fuck out? Yeah, that cracked me up. It did. People have had enough of this shit. So because of that, I think we're going to see a different kind of America. But we've got big, big problems in D.C. We've got big problems in New York City. That is to say, the financial industry. We've got big problems with the monetary system. We've got big problems with the military system. Is America going to survive, or are these scumbag Great Reset, World Economic Forum people all a member of the big club and you and I ain't in it? Are they going to destroy America from the inside, from the outside, so that they get their dream of owning everything? Right? Bill Ackman wants to short everything and make money and buy up stocks and companies for pennies on the dollar. I'm sure. That's folks. They're allowing things to happen. Now, I love it that people are going around and just robbing these big chain stores blind who aren't doing anything to prosecute, and the police won't prosecute. I love it that these little store owners, mom and pop, they're going to fight back. It was the big chains like Walmart and Target that do predatory retail practices, which should be against the law. They go in and they sell products so cheap, they'll take a loss for several years to drive other businesses out, mom and pop stores, little stores, regular people that can't compete with big box stores. And then once they knock all the competition out, guess what? They raise their prices. My friend Lily went and did some research and found out that they're charging more for food, goods, etc. at Walmart than at other main stores, right? Non-discount stores. Why? Because in the neighborhoods where the Walmarts are, there's no other businesses around anymore. Interesting, huh? Interesting. They're now screwing over the little man, the poor man, the welfare cases in neighborhoods where they've killed all the competition off. Well, now they're getting their stores robbed blind, and mom and pops are going to make a comeback because they'll pull out the 357. They'll pull out the 9 and put an end to the thievery. All right, here we are. We're getting close. Jolene, what do we got next? We got Will Savy back with a $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Will, and everybody for all the great support and questions and comments. He says, times are scary. Is now the time to prepare? Yeah, I'm thinking you might want to start getting prepared now, Will. It just might be the time. With potential World War III breaking out in Europe, nuclear war breaking out in the Middle East and Europe, possibly coming to the United States of America, civil unrest in America. Let's see, we could have potential partisan conflict between Democrats and Republicans, as well as other types of partisan conflict between social groups, like the LGBT crowd, which is very violent and murderous, the Antifa crowd, which is violent and murderous, and other left-wing radical groups who are violent and murderous. It's up to you and only you to prepare for yourself. If the lights were to go out, guess what? The government will not be there to help you. So you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. I recommend solar as well. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Thepreparedmind.club. C-L-U-B. Thepreparedmind.club. We sell everything, but we sell nothing. What we do is we provide a link to products, goods, and services that are out there in the world of prepping to get you prepared. We don't make anything. We don't warehouse anything. We don't really sell anything. We just direct you in areas where you can get what you need. It is an imperfect world. an imperfect world. So get one radio, get two radios. Get one gun, get two guns. Get one water filter, get two water filters. Make sure you've got enough. Get 1 month of food, get 3 months of food, get 6 months of food. Get prepared. Right? If you can help feed other people, you're going to have allies. If there is a food shortage or an unreliable food delivery system to your area, do your very best, folks. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you are a prepper? Thanks a million. Thank you, one and all. And I am out of here. I'll be back 0 dark 30 in the morning. Godspeed, Semper Fi.